So obviously we'll get more and more information as we track Beryl moving toward the west. We also have other things happening in the tropics. We've got Invest area that's moving into the Yucatan of Mexico, bringing heavy rain there. And we've got another area to watch, kind of following in the track of Tropical Storm Beryl, which right now is packing 50-mile-per-hour winds. So as of 11 o'clock last night, that is when the National Hurricane Center named Beryl, and we can see why. It's fairly organized. It's kind of staying away from other inhibiting factors like the dust to the north and the shear to the north. We've got abundant moisture aiding in storm development, wrapping around the center now, and therefore classifying it as a tropical storm. There's your shear. You can see the darker shades of blue, even that fuchsia, that pink to the north. So kind of staying away from that for now. It's really got nothing inhibiting it from strengthening further. Very warm sea surface temperatures. We've been worried about that for quite some time. We are above average, even here in the central and far eastern Atlantic basin. High pressure steering it to the west, the periphery of that high, moving it in the general direction of the Caribbean islands. And as we mentioned, it's moving at a fairly good clip. So hopefully the folks here in the Caribbean are preparing for this storm now, because the impacts will likely to start being felt tomorrow night into Monday. The tropical storm force winds, then eventually the hurricane force winds. And by the way, Cat 2 hurricane force winds. This is the forecast from the Hurricane Center, 110 miles per hour. That is just a little shy of being a Category 3 or a major hurricane, and then basically moving pretty quickly still to the west. Looks like right now the forecast has it staying mostly to the south of Hispaniola, Dominican Republic, and Haiti, but obviously that could change because we're going out farther in time. The intensity forecast, you can see the model wind forecast. Most of these models have it going into Cat 1, and there you see that Category 2 as well as we head into Monday afternoon and Monday evening. So as I mentioned, there's really nothing to stop it from happening. There's that hurricane watch for just Barbados for now, but I would not be surprised if we see additional watches and even warnings being issued as we bring the storm closer to the Caribbean islands. Let's track it now. Our future radar, there's the spin coming through Barbados. You can see additional showers to the north of it, to the south of it. Remember, it's not just a point on the radar. You've got extended impacts north, south, east, and west of that system. So as it moves its way past the Caribbean islands, the Lesser Antilles, it'll be moving into the Caribbean Sea. Again, there is some uncertainty in terms of where it goes from there. But as you can see, we're going to kind of compare the models now. If we take a look at the European model, it follows more of a southern track. However, the American model has it going a little bit more toward the north, kind of skimming the area around Cancun and Cozumel. So we've got time to watch it before it gets there. Meantime, behind Beryl, we've got a 50% chance of development with this entity right here in the eastern Atlantic. Other storms rolling off the coast of Africa a bit early in the season for this to be happening, but it does happen occasionally. There's that development area over the next 7 days. Again, it's got a medium chance of doing something over that time frame. And as you can see, we've got that area of spin. We'll be looking for that mid to later on in the week. Once we get towards Independence Day, that will be something we'll be watching. Jen?
Thanks to our virtual view technology, I'm in Pittsburgh. This weekend, expected to be a stormy one. The National Weather Service here issued a flood watch until the overnight hours of tomorrow morning, and we've got all the risks when it comes to severe weather. There is a 3 on the Torcon. It's possible that we could see strong, damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. It's also possible that we see some large hail. So all the hazards are here in Pittsburgh and other cities in the Northeast as well. You're watching right now a couple of showers moving on through. Nothing of any consequence really in Pittsburgh. To the north, it's a little heavier, like up towards Erie, Pennsylvania. Not a fun day if you're out there at the campground, maybe you're on the lake. But it gets worse as we get through the day with that risk of severe weather on the increase. And so through the morning hours, a few more chances of thunderstorms. The ones that come in later on this afternoon really have the better risk of seeing severe. We see this right through about 4, 5 o'clock, continuing in multiple rounds. So it's not like it's one line of storms that comes and goes. You got multiple chances of storms that continues until about midnight or so here in Pittsburgh. Buffalo, it's raining, and you're in for a rainy morning here. We've had some rain already move through Syracuse. That's heading out. And I know you're probably thinking, how can we get severe storms when it's just rainy and cloudy out there and actually not feeling all that warm, right? Well, it's going to change through the day. And once we get in that warm sector, the warm front still hasn't even come through yet. That's going to come through first. We'll get the risk of thunderstorms with that, and then we'll also watch for the risk of severe weather once we get into that warm sector. So temperatures go up, dew points go up, and the instability visibility goes up as well, watching those storm chances increasing through this evening. And then let's jump over into eastern Pennsylvania. We got Allentown up here. And for folks today, being ready for thunderstorms to come in by tonight. A lot of your day is going to be okay, but storms by this evening could be packing a punch, Kelly.
With all the colors that you see on the hillsides, that's for sure. Well, whichever season you prefer to take flight, avoiding pricey baggage fees can be a hassle. So coming up at 8:20 this morning Eastern Time, we've got some tips on how to keep your luggage within the budget.
I just want to keep my stuff within the luggage. You know, I'm
trying to zip it up.
Trying to sit on and zip it up.
Packing cubes actually work. I've got so many questions for Davey when you do.
I always use packing cubes. Yeah, but I'm curious if they make it better or not. I mean, I think they do, but
we'll find out.
Hear from the expert.
Stay tuned. 8:20 Eastern, right?
Yes.
We've got a lot of people traveling, Jen. You've got more than 60 million by car, a lot of people flying, and even the trains, buses, and cruise lines will be busy, according to AAA.
Yes, and so we've got also weather delays that are going to be in the mix here with creating some issues. Atlanta, Denver, we got top busiest airport, third busiest airport.
Oh boy, that could be
a
an issue.
lot of connections go through these airports.
Depending on when the storms hit, where they're going to be. Cleveland, we've got you in that red as well, so definitely watch out for some delays due to this. We've got the severe weather threat, not just Cleveland, but Pittsburgh, getting into Harrisburg, PA, and we can't rule out isolated tornadoes across this area.
Right, and so travel today, there is some rain out there now, but it actually gets worse throughout the day. Same here in the south. There's a few scattered showers this morning, but the bigger showers and storms with heavier rain happen later this afternoon.
Yeah, try to book those early flights, I would say. That's usually your better bet, especially during the summertime. There are your storms in Denver. Looking good for the West Coast from Seattle all the way down to San Diego. Hot stuff in the Four Corners, 111 Phoenix, and even some showers for some areas.
And it's actually not the dry heat either. It's kind of humid out there.
It's a little humid. You saw the showers not that far away, right? And in fact, we see it again for tomorrow across the southwest, the southeast, and even the northeast, Jen. Chance of severe weather going up.
I think there could be a lot of delays tomorrow, especially because storms could be overnight in the northeast. Here you start your day with the risk of thunderstorms out there, especially ramping up though later in the day in Boston, extending into Monday as well. Tuesday, Wednesday look good, but get into the 4th, we're gonna have to deal with some rain.
What is it with the weekends in the northeast? We seem to have the nice weather right smack in the middle of the week. Atlanta, you got storms today and tomorrow. We do need the rain, however, but look at the heat, the humidity. It is on all week long.
Yes, indeed.
Well, let's get you off the Weather Channel. Welcome into America's Weekend Headquarters. I'm meteorologist Kelly Cass.
And I'm meteorologist Jen Carfagno. We're watching travel for folks here. I think it, probably started this week. Officially, I guess, kicks off this weekend.
Especially in the Atlanta area. I have noticed a lot more different license plates out there on the interstates. Well, according to AAA, more than 70 million in the game. All right, we do have, unfortunately, the threat for severe weather coming right back at us here in the northeast. Just when you get your power back on, we are talking more damaging winds, possibly hail. Isolated tornadoes cannot be ruled out. From the eastern Great Lakes, upper Ohio Valley into the interior northeast, it looks like the megalopolis, maybe later on tonight, but certainly Sunday, we need to watch those areas for severe weather. Torcon 3 on our scale that goes up to a 10 being the maximum threat when it comes to our chance for tornadoes. Not a high number, but it's still a number, which means isolated tornadoes cannot be ruled out. We already have storms in progress this morning in Detroit. It's raining in Buffalo, as well as some of these areas like Pittsburgh. So for now, everything's pretty, we can deal with it. However, as we go through the afternoon, the storms get worse, and we will see that daytime heating allowing these storms to grow bigger in size and more dangerous, moving right across the Finger Lakes region as we head towards your evening plans tonight, right on down towards Pittsburgh, where we don't need the rain, by the way. We've got a surplus of about half a foot. Rain headed towards Philadelphia, New York City, lower Hudson Valley as we head toward the midnight hour, and certainly Sunday, we're going to pick it up too with that chance for severe storms. Unfortunately, as the storm system moves in our direction all the way to the 95 corridor, that means rough weather from Boston all the way down to Raleigh, North Carolina. So watch out. Could be some bad weather tomorrow.
Children tragically dying in hot cars. The first, a 6-year-old girl in Florida last month. The second, an 8-year-old girl in Charlotte this week. A total of 6 children so far this year losing their life in hot cars.
Automakers are working on new detection technology after facing accusations that existing safety devices are just not good enough to prevent tragedy.
CBS News national consumer correspondent Usher Karashi spoke to one family who lost a child to a hot car.
With some heavy rain there.
Yes. All right. So let's get to Beryl. This is the new update in from the National Hurricane Center. Winds are at 60 miles per hour. So that's an increase. It was a 50, jumped to 60. Still Still moving west at 21. The pressure dropped a little bit, 999.
It was 1,001, now 999. So when the pressure goes down, the winds typically respond. We have a strengthening system, possibly strengthening to a hurricane by tomorrow. That is the forecast from the Hurricane Center. Even we've got a Category 2 as it makes its way through the Lesser Antilles, and that is a high-end Cat 2. Just 1 mile per hour short of being a Category 3 or a major hurricane.
And then beyond that, we've got to watch to see where is it going to go. The steering flow right now is here pretty obvious and not looking at it really much uncertainty in that. But beyond that, there definitely is some uncertainty as how the steering will affect it. Will it stay further south with a stronger ridge, or will it be able to track a little farther north?
Euro says stronger ridge. Euro says farther south. Of course, the other model, the American model we look at, is a little bit more toward the north. So again, we still have some time to monitor Beryl. Of course, right now the Caribbean should be preparing for it, though, in the coming days. We got impacts there. 60% chance with that next system that's moved off the coast of Africa, Jen, moving in that general direction once again toward the Caribbean islands as we head toward the end of next week.
Yeah, could be some of the same spots
Lots
impacted.
to watch. Well, some famous Canadians are cussing up a storm on camera, and a new brew is making wastewater palatable.
Well, here's a preview of what you'll see later today on Pattern.